Welcome back to the show. This is 0xfiles. My name is Sham. The truth is always out there. I always say this because look, there's plenty of stuff I've said on the videos that will stay there forever. But one of the things that we need to look at is the market, right? None of the other truths matter. Nothing matters. What matters is what the market is doing right now. So we have a situation right now in this market. Okay, we are kind of in a region for Bitcoin and the entire global crypto market, cryptocurrency. We're in a particular situation at this moment where the market is kind of testing a particular level, and I'm not quite happy with that because it's tested it more than once, right? And that's the thing that worries me the most. Especially that $62,000 level, the $62,500 level. It's worrying that we've constantly gone in and tested that, right? A few times. In fact, last 4 days, we've been testing that zone, which is not a good thing, to be honest, right? This $62,400, $500 level is not a great thing. Because you got to understand patterns. Whenever we touch something in one direction, we're bound to break down. Whenever we touch it the opposite direction, we're bound to do the opposite, right? So now that we've been touching this lower level and kind of doing these lower lows or lower highs or whatever you want to call it, right? The situation is that we might actually end up breaking through. And if we do fall through, we're going to go and touch the 58K, possibly even the $53,000 level. We don't want that, right? Because when we go to the $53,000 level, the bull market's over, right? Now, of course, based on technical patterns, if we go to around $37,000 level, that's when the bull market's over, right? But for me, the way I look at it is, if we go to 53, it's over. Am I going to take any risk until then? Probably not, right? I've talked about it already many times. I've been repeating it like a broken record about stop losses. So right now is a good opportunity, again, if you haven't, to consider setting up some stop losses just in case the market dips. Now, I know a lot of people are going to turn around and say, well, what if there are people hunting the stops, right? Or what if we're getting hunted, like stop hunts or whatever, right? Stop loss hunts. That does happen, but obviously I can't advise on how you're going to navigate yourself. But all I can say is, look, you got to end up able to save your funds, because last thing you want to do is hold something that you've bought for more than what it's worth now, and then you keep on dipping down and you're like, oh no, I'm going to hold on forever. You can do that, that's not a problem. With the big boys, the blue chip coins, I always recommend this. Like blue chip coins, they will always come back. But when you've got a whole bunch of shit coins there, be careful. That's all I'm saying. And I've always said this as well, guys. Always be careful, especially with the shit coins, because you don't know what's going to happen. And especially this cycle, I've been more cautious than ever because of certain things I've seen. And we're going to talk about this as well, right? Once again, my name is Sham. This is 0xfiles. Time now is 10:24 p.m. and we are in April. I believe we're on the 16th of April 2024 today. This means we have approximately just over, we have 3 days, right? So if today's Tuesday, 3 days from now, what is it? Tuesday, Friday, Saturday? I think it's on Saturday. Friday or Saturday, we're going to have the halvening, guys. We're going to have the crypto halvening. Now, I want to talk about this as well. So the market itself, one of the reasons I've been very cautious is because we didn't have patterns like we've had previous cycles. And there's big reasons behind this. And one of the biggest reasons is that we've had more and more public institutions coming into the space right now, right? And for me, I knew that it wasn't good, right? I've always said this. I said, look, everyone wanted institutions. Well, they're here now, and what they're going to do is manipulate the shit out of it. Because it's an unregulated market, they're going to play every trick in the book that they've been playing already in the regulated markets. So think about it, right? If these guys could play these same games in a regulated market, imagine what they could do in an unregulated market. So they're here now, they're manipulating, they're controlling the narrative, they're doing whatever they want, right? One of those things, for example, BlackRock and ETF and whatnot, right? Yeah, of course, there's a lot of drama about that, and everyone got all hyped, followed the narrative. Yes, we got an ETF. Or did you trade the ETF? If you haven't, if you're not buying an ETF or you're not trading an ETF, why are you so excited for, right? Especially when it's a paper ETF. Nevertheless, we're all excited. Okay, fine. Something's happened. It's given us legitimacy. So we do take the win for that. However, BlackRock now goes around and moves its BTC holding into Coinbase, and all of a sudden you've got big influencers out there, big Twitter accounts, big YouTubers, whatnot. They just see a single tweet without any context. They just go and tweet it out. It's like, oh, BlackRock has just sent God knows how many $1 million worth to Coinbase. What does that mean? Does that mean they're selling? Does that mean they're dumping? Does that mean anything? If you read the small print on the BlackRock's ETF condition, right, for them to receive it, they clearly said that they're going to have Coinbase as the custody service. So Coinbase is going to secure the cryptocurrencies that they hold, and they're going to do the paper trading. So we know that it's a paper trading. ETF is a paper trading, right? So when BlackRock moves funds, probably BlackRock is just manipulating everybody, because BlackRock knows that there are idiots, smart fools out there, too good for their own self, right, who follow these things, follow BlackRock and follow BlackRock's wallet, and all of a sudden see funds moving and they start panicking, right, because they think something's going to happen, but they don't realize that BlackRock said that Coinbase is going to be the custody service. Does it really mean BlackRock is dumping now or selling now? You know, and if BlackRock is doing all of this publicly, maybe they have figured out that the fools, the smart fools in the industry, will always react, right? Of course, there are also paid advertisements. I've talked about this as well, where they may pay someone just to tweet something out or whatnot. And that's what's happening right now. So the market itself, obviously, based on the structures and based on the trends, right, we have kind of followed it through to the T, right? We've followed it through to the T. But on top of that, when you have all of this other news coming out, whether it's fear and uncertainty and doubt, FUD, or it's FOMO, whatever it is, right? Ultimately, the institutions that have entered the space have figured out that they can start manipulating the market with just a wallet transfer, like a simple freaking wallet transfer. So that's what I feel anyway. That's what I think is going on. Of course, you guys should also know this as well. I talk about this quite often. Bitcoin is the kind of largest dominant right now. I mean, not kind of, it is the largest dominant right now. So because of that dominance, it can actually kind of move the market, right, or move the sentiment of the people in the market. And you know, it can dump or it can pump. Now when BTC moves, say 1%, everything else will move 2-3%, if not more, right? Because people are fearful, right? Many people are not experienced in the patterns and the structures, right? When they see one thing dumping, they'll dump the whole lot, right, and get out. Happens a lot, but that's how more people end up losing money. If they are really smart, they would understand that, okay, there is a certain amount of money I could lose, but ultimately I could make a lot more, and they would play the game in a different way, you know. But it's sad, you know. If you are here on the live stream, say hi, don't be shy. So that's what I'm seeing anyway. For the market, like, let's do a little market lowdown. Total market cap currently sitting at $2.2 trillion. Earlier on, it was, sorry, $2.25 trillion. Earlier on, it was at $2.2 trillion. Currently, BTC sitting at 63,683. Earlier on, it did go to 62,000. In fact, it went to 61,700, if I was correct, right? It did go down very low. Ethereum, just going to follow BTC, so I'm not too concerned about what price it is right now. Solana, same thing. I'm not too concerned about what the price is, because I've noticed when BTC dumped 2%, Solana dumped like 6-7%, right? Because these are large blue chip coins. People, when they panic, right? It creates panic. Now, of course, when we look at these things, we also need to understand that, okay, what are levels we're looking at? What are the patterns we're looking at? What's the current situation? So let me just talk about this, right? BTC sitting above this 63,600 is actually not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing, right? But it's not the greatest thing we could expect. We would love to see BTC back above the $66,000 level, if not higher, right? We want to see it go higher, because that will then reverse the pattern that we have on a shorter time frame, right? And when I'm talking about shorter time frame, I'm talking about hourly, 4 hourly, 8 hourly, 12 hourly, 6 hourly, whatever you want to call it, anything less than a day, right? It would definitely reverse that trend, right? But until then, no, even on a daily, actually, it would reverse the trend. So we need it to go back to $66,000, right? To get back into range and start moving. And we'll forget about the last 4 days. right? Because the last 4 days, we can treat it like a blip as long as we go back to $66,000 level. If we don't, it's not a blip, that's a trend. That's a trend, and that's a bad thing, right? That's a bad thing, and I've been talking about this, right? Same with Solana. I said, like, if we don't go above 136, right, it's a bad thing because Solana has no support. Now, of course, on the lower time frames, the more times it bounces around a certain level and it does a sideways movement, eventually it creates a support, right, which is good. So eventually we will see some support even on these levels as well. The 62, if we're constantly bouncing around these levels, we will see a nice support, and which is what we're seeing right now. This has become a support zone, right? And actually I'll tell you exactly where the support zone is, right? So its support zone is between 61,400 and 63,000 supporters. Right now we're holding that support, but we dipped. Do you know what I mean? We dipped, right? Now if we lose this support for whatever reason, we get one candle that actually points down and just becomes that candle, then 58k is back, 60k is back in play, 58k is back in play, and eventually I think we might even go to see the 53k, right? So the action I'm taking right now is one, stop loss, right? The final, last and final stop loss to exit me out completely. I need to be out of the market if we're heading towards 53k, right? So for me, it's like, right, okay, I don't want to even know about it. Anything below 61k, I'm out, because that means we're going down, right? So that's where I would set up my stop losses and of course see how it goes. I see Pothead here. Also, my brother, nice to see you. So that's where I would exit, because I don't want to even wait for 58k. In fact, what I can do is if I exit everything, so all my crypto, and I'm not talking about BTC only, so I will use BTC as my indicator. So if BTC goes to 61k, I want to be out. That's my exit point, right? And of course, I'm not giving you any financial advice. That's my exit point. Once that exit happens, I'm out of everything, right? That's the key here. I'm out of everything, right? I'll manually go and press this button and get the hell out of all of the assets that I'm holding right now, because the next option BTC has is 58k, and I could easily jump back in again. You see what I mean? So if I think the market's going to reverse from that point, I'll jump back in again. But if it's not, I don't want to be in it, because things are not good, right? And this is going to be like one of my last warnings to everybody. Things are not good. You know, I'm not going to talk about stop losses and this and that. We did that for all the way up to 74k and all the way down here right now. I don't need to talk about that. This is the last stop loss I would ever have, right? Because after this, all I'm looking at is buying the dip, right? And if it keeps on dipping, I'm going to keep on buying the dip. I'm literally going to be dollar cost averaging down if I have to. Because remember how patterns work, right? When we go to a certain level, then another level is also kind of probable, right? So we know that if we do go anywhere below 61k, 60k is probable, right? 58k is back in play, it's probable. And if we hit 58k and we're on a downward trend, 53k is probable, right? And based on the moving average pattern, 53k is the end of the bull market, right? But in order to confirm all of that, we have to go to 37,000, something, yeah, 37k, which is a number I don't want to see. I'd rather buy at that level. So I just hope that kind of makes sense. I know a lot of people, I don't make sense to a lot of people. But yeah, it's just, that's what I see. End of the day, it's just freaking crazy. I mean, Ethereum definitely showing signs of a higher low, which is okay, but I'm not too concerned about Ethereum, solely because Ethereum will follow along with BTC regardless what happens, right? Solana currently sitting at $136, exactly on that line, right, that we do not want to lose as support, right? Because if we lose this particular area as support, it's gone. Now, where would I like to see Solana? I would definitely right now Solana. So earlier on in the past, I have mentioned this Solana, we need to see it around the 166. Lucky for us, right? Unfortunate, but still lucky for us, because of what we did in the past 3-4 days. Currently, we just need to see Solana go back to 152, 153 and above. As long as it does that, it reverses the trend, right? So Solana can potentially move a lot quicker, right, in percentage wise. So while BTC does 1% up, 2% up, Solana could easily do 10, 20% up. It has the infrastructure behind it. It has the ecosystem behind it. It has all the degens behind it. It can actually do that, right? Whereas in BTC has become more of a sophisticated holder right now, because not everyone can hold the large quantity of BTC, right? Unless they're already holding, right? So it's more of a sophisticated instrument, right? Or asset. Ethereum, same thing. More and more institutions and sophisticated traders and investors are holding onto Ethereum. So I'm not too concerned about that. But Solana has massive, massive potential to do mega pumps, right? So let's see what happens, right? Pothead said, I appreciate hearing your non-financial advice opinion. This is absolutely no financial advice. I'm just telling you what I'm going to do. You know, I will do me, you do you. Of course, you know, we can't really give any financial advice, but I'm just saying that's the pattern I'm looking at. That's how I'll be looking at certain things. And of course, I'm just planning for the future and worst case scenario. Now, none of this may happen, right? As I said, the bull market on the technical pattern, the bull market is not over until we go below. So carefully listen to me. We went to close to 73,700 or something, right? Which is close to 74,000. So the bull market invalidation point, right, is actually 50% below. So we have to be 50% of the all-time high. So if we go below the 50% all-time high, that's the bull market invalidation, means we're in a bear market. Simple technical jargon, let's just say, right? But for us to wait for that confirmation for 37k, isn't it too late? So instead of me looking at the too late news, which is the confirmation, I don't care about that. That will happen. If we're in a bear market, we're in a bear market. We're going to do about it, right? But I'm not saying we're in a bear market. I'm saying we're still in a bull market, but at least we can follow the trend and kind of prepare for what's about to come, which is exactly what we've been doing for God knows how long now, right? So pretty much every video I've talked about stop loss, stop loss, stop loss, how this market could reverse. I've talked about this so long right now. I know there are some boys that I know who have sold their BTC, sold their portfolio, you know, a few days back, you know, even a few months back, right? Not a few months, sorry, a few weeks back, actually, a few weeks back, a few days to a few weeks back, right? Sorry, I'm just jumping. So, because they bought a few months ago. But anyway, I'm just getting it mixed. But the point is people are selling their portfolio or getting out, waiting for those dips, right? Which is okay. I don't see a problem with that. There's a lot of people who, you know, depending on what kind of numbers we give, they react slightly above or slightly below, which is okay. Each to their own, right? But they're prepared. That's the most important thing. Everyone is prepared. What goes up will come down, and they understand this, right? And it's a matter of patience. A lot of people that I know have patience, right? Patience with me as well most of the time, right? Because I'm not your everyday average YouTuber. I'm not even a freaking YouTuber. I don't even know why I call myself a YouTuber. I'm not a YouTuber, right? I'll come on, I'll come and say what I need to say, and I'll just go away. You know what I mean? Depends on my mood, depends how I'm feeling, depends if I have time, right? But I do my best. You know what I mean? I do my best. So I've tried, you know, I've tried. The people who watch me or watch my videos, I've tried my best to prepare everyone that, guys, doesn't matter how high we go, doesn't matter how high our targets are, we need to play with caution, right? And the reasons, as I said, like, you know, the institutions coming in and all of that, as a lot of things are different in this market, and because of that we have to be extra cautious, right? Because we're playing with the big boys now, right? This is the big boy game right now. So of course a lot of people have reacted, and as I said, they saved, right? So that's that. Now that we're heading down and we see a downward trend forming, I want to be prepared for the worst case scenario. You know what I mean? Worst case scenario. And worst case scenario for me is I don't want to go and see the 37k for sure, but the probabilities we might go and test the 60,000, maybe $58,000 level. If we do that, then there's a massive potential we might even go close to 53. But 53 would be the end, right? For me, 53 would be the end, and I would definitely love to sit below that to pick it up. You know what I mean? Just preparing basically. Of course, if the market comes back, we go to 58k and never go and see 53k, and then we start bouncing back up. Well, guess what? If I've sold at 61k, I'm still getting it for a discount. You know what I mean? Maybe a few satoshis more, but that's the idea. But the entire market, remember, the percentage on the other stuff is going to be a lot higher. So if I dump, say for example, if I dump my Solana at 130, for example, just for the sake of this video, I dump it at 130, and then Solana dips all the way to 120. Well, I got a lot more percentage. Do you know what I mean? So that's how it is. Pothead said, I would like to see a cool off lower prices till end of summer. That's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. That's definitely not a good thing. See, the problem is end of summer is usually end of bull market, right? Bull market always ends at the end of summer. So we've been already in it for close to 16 months, 16 months now. We've been in the bull market for almost 16 months now, 15, 16 months, I can't remember. Ideally, we want to continue, right? The trend. Like, so what I'm saying is, even though we've come to 62, 63K today right now, as long as we're still trending up and the trend is not invalidated, like an upward momentum or a trend is not invalidated, it's okay. I don't even mind a 58K. In fact, I believe that I've said this on many videos. I said, look, if we want to see bigger moves, we need to see a 60, 58K. We don't want to see 74K. I've mentioned this before. It's on the videos, guys. That's why I say the truth is always out there. I've mentioned it on previous videos. I said, guys, if we want to see a higher number, we don't want to be at 74K. The 74K didn't give us enough room to create supports. In fact, if we did create a support, our support should have been around the 68K, which was the previous all-time high. But look where we are today. We're below the previous all-time high. So we know that that level was not an important level, did not have any significant support or resistance, right? So because we didn't build that pattern there, today we can see the results, which is we're below the previous, and I'm talking about the 2021 all-time high. We need to be above that. That should have been our support range, but we couldn't hold that. We didn't have a pattern. However, on these levels right now, where we are, there's 62, 60, 58, we do have enough information on the chart to give us a support level. Does that make sense? Because after that, guess what? We're going to 53K, and that's where we're going to be. See, RA here, also my brother, nice. I'm doing good. I hope you're doing good as well, right? So that's what I'm saying. You've got to understand patterns, and you've got to understand how the charts work and the candles work. And I'm not claiming to be an expert here, guys. I'm no expert here. I'm just a normal guy doing my own thing, right? And just trying to help at least one person, nothing else, right? And so, yeah, when you start looking at patterns start making sense. Previous resistance will become new supports, and new supports or any supports we have, we should hold at some point as a resistance as well. But anyway, that's not the point here. The point is we need to get back to 66K, ideally 68K, because that was the previous all-time high. That's where we need to be, and everything else will follow along. That's what I'm going to say. Everything else would follow along. So it is important that we have about 3 days. As I said, we have approximately about 3 days remaining for the halvening to happen. When this particular halvening happens, I think it's Saturday. I think it's on Saturday. When this halvening happens, we have to make a decision. Now, good thing is we are so close to the halvening, so anything we do now shouldn't really impact the trends or how we've done it in history in the past. Because in the past, it was all different. We've had the dump way before the halvening, you know what I mean? So that was something. In the past, we never had an all-time high before the halvening. We've done that now as well. In the past, we never had institutions, companies like BlackRock with $9 trillion asset management under their belt. We didn't have them. We didn't have massive companies like MicroStrategy selling his company stocks to buy BTC. We didn't have that. So the reality is there's a lot of things we didn't have, and we have them right now. So there are some plus and there are some negative, right? Good and the bad and the ugly, right? And, for us, we can only be hopeful, because a lot of the stuff that is happening right now is kind of throwing off for certain things, like the way technical patterns work is throwing off. In current pattern, we're in a bearish trend. It's not even sideways. It can't make his mind up whether it wants to go up or down. It's not good. Some people can say, well, we've got a green candle. Yeah, we have a green candle, but isn't this a lower high? Do we really want to see a lower high? Okay, fine, we'll have it. But for me, I'd rather have a trending high than a lower high. Do you know what I mean? I want a trending high. I don't see a trending high right now. You know, so those are the important things we need to look at, guys. It's very, very important. You know, I know 66k is not an important level to a lot of people, but to me, when I look at a chart, 66k is a definite important level. In fact, the 66,666 is the most important level, right? If you just understand the numbers, it's all about the sixes. Very important level. Also on the daily, we have entered the Gaussian channel, which is not a good thing. But so far, Gaussian channel hasn't flipped bearish because we're still kind of on the upper band, which is okay. We're not below the band. But for us to get below the band is if we go, anything below 62,400 and stay there, that's below the band. That's it. We're bearish. We're going to get sucked in until we go to 58k. These are important numbers, guys. Important numbers. You got to understand. If there's any questions, please fire away. My name's Sham. This is 0xfiles. The truth is always out there. There are plenty of numbers, plenty of things I've said, which are there. You can always go back and check the videos and use them as reference. If I have said anything on any of my old videos or anything, please don't take offense, because some of the times some people take it personally. Don't do that, right? It's wrong. It's wrong. You know, I might sometimes have a go at people, sometimes say certain things. You know, sometimes I have emotional issues, but at the end of the day, they're not targeted towards anybody. And if you or anybody feel that way, then maybe you've done something wrong. That's all I'm going to say. Right? If anyone takes offense to what I say on a live stream, then clearly you've done something wrong and you know it. So that's all I'm going to say. But other than that, if you have any questions, please fire away. So far, market's looking good. To be honest, look, I'm looking at it right now. BTC has jumped to 64,200, I believe. Where is it? Yeah, 64,220. So BTC has jumped a little bit, which is good. These are good signs, right? This is what we need to see. Ethereum's jumped. Solana's still struggling at 137, which is okay. I'm not complaining. As I said, it's going to follow. The total market cap is currently at $2.26 trillion. So looking good, right? We haven't even closed the candle. We still have approximately, I think, 2 hours remaining for the candle to close. It's still moving forward. So RA says, don't know how anyone can take offense for anything you said. They can take offense, right? People can take offense if they said something that they're not supposed to, right? Or if they feel that they've done something wrong, and then me having a go at them. You know what I mean? So I could have a go at everybody right now here on this video, and people who have ill intention or have done something wrong, right, which they are guilty about, they might turn around and feel guilty about it and get offended by it. Do you know what I mean? So that's the reality. It's human nature. Pothead says, previous 4-year cycles, we top 500 or so days after halvening. So maybe this run we've been in the ETF hype. Absolutely. Not only ETF hype, a lot more has been happening as well. So a lot of people didn't notice this. Before the ETF hype started, right, before BlackRock even came into the stage, a lot of BTC was being bought up, right, by anonymous whales, right? And why they're anonymous is clear. If Coinbase, if they buy through Coinbase, Binance, or any OTC, right, any over-the-counter, and they decide to be anonymous, we don't know who that wallet, who the receiving wallet is, unless it becomes public, right? So there are a lot of anonymous wallets that have been buying up BTC, right, and kind of pumping the price before BlackRock came in. Now, my suspicion is it was them, right? My suspicion is a collaboration of multiple companies and institutions who collaborated inside the news, right, before they come to the market, so they can bag the discounts and then let us or all the shrimps and everybody on the planet pump the market up so they can resell it back to us. That's what I believe. So for me, the way I look at it is BlackRock didn't buy on the day it did, or it claimed it did. It was already in profit. BlackRock's not stupid, right? It happens over and over again. Like Michael say, like, oh, I bought $1 billion worth, yeah, but he never says it on the day he buys it, and coincidentally, he always ends up buying the dip. How's that possible? Right? Unless he's creating the dip, right? CSM here. We are going to the dark side of the moon. Aren't we there already? Aren't we already on the freaking dark side of the moon, right? So yeah, I know we all talk about going to the moon and doing all sorts of stuff, but yeah, the reality is we are probably already on the dark side of the moon. The reality is that where we are today, for example, from where we were, you know, the 15,500 or whatever it was, 15,800 I think it was, the low to where we are now, 400x, almost close to 400 or 300x, right? Isn't that already kind of moonish? Because I don't see any other stocks or shares or bonds on this planet that has done the same in the last 15 months, 15 or 16 months, right? I don't see any other stocks doing that, right? We've done that. I don't see, like, for example, Solana 137. I don't see anything else that has done a 10x. Nothing's done a 10x. You know what I mean? So we've got to look at this. We've got to look at this, you know. I mean, BTC, Ethereum, technically all of them did a 300%, right? Fine. It's okay. I'm not complaining. But Solana, done a 10x. Do you know what I mean? Done a 10x, almost like 18, 19x for the when it went to the high. So right now, looking at the market, as I said, like, you know, I want to see the market make a decision, either go down or either go up, but not be in this particular range that it's in. It's a dangerous range. So all I'm saying, guys, in this video, all I'm saying is just be cautious. Be cautious that the probability of us going and testing the $60,000 level, testing the $58,000 level, even potentially testing the $53,000 level is very high because of where we are. If we are above the $66,000 level and we're trending up now, then the probability of us going to those lower numbers is very low. So that's the key here, right? Solana, if we go anything below $36, $136, the probability of us going lower, right, to some ridiculously low number is very high, right? So we better get back above the 136, which we have, and now currently the 153 or 154, we have to go above that in order to change the trend. The trend is your friend to the end, and if this trend doesn't get back on track, we are fucked, right? Excuse my language, but that's the reality. We are fucked, right? So yeah, that's the reality, you know. That's why I've been kind of stressed, because of the amount of ranges we got. My God, massive range. I mean, we actually have a range from 65,000 to 65,000 to 66,500 or something like this. We have a range. We need to get back above that, you know. So yeah, pretty crazy, pretty crazy. If there's any other question, guys, fire away. This is 0xfiles. My name's Sham. The truth is always out there, as I always say, right? As I said, many things I've said. I always say, you know, I've given you numbers, patterns, and talked about all sorts of crazy stuff. It's all there. It's all there on this channel. You know, I can't take it back even if I wanted, because I've already said it. And a lot of people don't know this. Some of these videos that I make, or in fact all of these videos that I make, they are actually on a decentralized video sharing platform as well. So my videos, I could delete them here. They're still there. So anything I've ever said is still there, guys. Still there. That's the reality. That's the reality. I can't take it back. So pointless me deleting something here, because it's available on some anonymous, not anonymous, but on some decentralized platform, because I have connected my video to a decentralized platform. And the worst thing is I don't know the logging in ID, right, or the wallet address that I use to log in. I don't know it, so I can't log in now. I can't log in. I can't even update the channel's name. That's how bad it is. So yeah, it is what it is. You know, it is what it is. So guys, if you have anything you want to ask me, please go ahead. If not, then I'm not going to make this video any longer. You know, I've said my piece. I wanted to give you all a bit of a warning that, you know, just from where the market is right now, some probabilities are higher than others. I would love to see all the patterns change. If they do, then it should be quite good, right? It should be quite good. So also, Pothead, looking at your message when you said about the previous 4-year cycle. Now, of course, we have this 4-year cycle, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we will always have a 4-year cycle, right? As we mature, we might also start adding a little bit more time. One thing you may have noticed as we have matured over each cycle that we've had, the percentage in gains is lower than what it was prior cycles, right? And these are important numbers to understand. So let's see. Let's see, you know. Pothead says for history. Well, maybe, yeah, for history or whatever. But that wasn't the intention. It was, I just thought that just in case YouTube ever decides to ban me or something like this, then at least there's a reference point, there's a record out there of what I've said. Because ultimately, who am I? Who am I? I mean, you might know me as Sham, but other than that, who am I? Right? How would history know me? What have I? What, you know, the things I've said. All of this is there's an evidence there, right? There's proof. Now YouTube could block me, but at least the proof is there somewhere on the blockchain somewhere. RA says, is it possible to dip down and still be in the bull market? Yes. So this is what you have to understand, RA, how bull markets work, right? So bull market is technically when we hit the market bottom and we reverse from that and we start trending up. That is the bull market, right? Now, whatever price we are in, as soon as we start pumping over that and, you know, heading towards higher levels, like for example, when we were at $15,000 level and we started pumping, and say, for example, we went to 22.5. I'm just giving you a rough estimate here. That was 50% more than what the low was. That's a confirmation, technically, it's a confirmation that we're in a freaking bull market. So the bull run was happening, took us from the 15,000. I'm just giving you hypothetical numbers here, by the way, guys. I'm not trying to be accurate here. So from 15,000 to 22,500, that would be our bull market confirmation, right? So we're in a bull market. That's it. So it's always 50%, that 50% mark. So now we know we're in a bull market. So all of a sudden we're in a bull market. That's confirmed. We don't need to worry about anything. Then what we look for is the previous all-time high. So in our case, the previous all-time high, the wick was at the $68,000 or $69,000 level, depending on which exchange you look at. But the body was around the $61,000 level. So we know, okay, it's that $61,000 level. If we halve that, that's 30,500. So we say, okay, 30,500 is the part that we need to go above. That's the 50% mark. So it's like a race. So we know that if we go to that 50% mark, we are confirming that we're now definitely on a bull market and we want to go parabola. So these are all good signs, right? So now, of course, when we start going up, as long as we're trending, we're still in a bull market, and we can have ups and downs, which is runs up and bear, you know, bull runs and bear runs. We can do that, but these are just patterns, right? One invalidates the other or validates the other, one or the other. But we're still in the bull market. That's the key here, right? So of course, we did what we needed to do. We went all the way to almost $74,000 levels. Fine. Even now, so now that we went to $74,000 level, we've had a dip. We could technically dip all the way down to 50% of 74,000, which is $37,000 level. And guess what? We can still be in a bull run, right? Or bull market. We could still be in a bull market. So it doesn't go, when we go below the 37, that's when we invalidate. So anytime, whatever the market high, all-time high of the market is, if you go back to 50% or below, that's when you know you have, now you're in a bear run or a bear market. All right. So yeah, we could dip. It's not a problem. However, the probability factor of when you start heading towards a particular direction, there are some probabilities that become higher and other probabilities become less. Like, for example, as I said, if we now go to the 61,000, I have a feeling we will definitely tap $60,000 level. That's a high probability. If we tap 60,000, then our probability of touching the 58,000 also becomes high as well. Now, if we go to 58,000, remember, we're now trending down, 53K comes in play. So now we're looking, when we talk about these numbers, we're also looking at where those major supports are. We're not looking at minor supports. So all of a sudden now, these major supports all come into play, because after the 53, we have the 48. After the 48, believe this or not, it's 37. Right? So things get really, really messy. I don't want to wait until 37. You know what I mean? If this bull market is going to be over, I don't want to wait until 37. But we could easily reverse back and move forward. I've mentioned this previously as well. If we do go to the 58 or the 60K or even the 62K, which we did recently, and move back up, we have a potential to do 110K, 120K, whatever. I think I said 108K. We've got that potential. We can do that. And in fact, if we grind for another 4 weeks and, trending up, obviously, we don't want to go below. But if we trend up from here and do like $1,000 a week. So this week we do 62, 63, 64, whatever. Next week we do 65. Following week we do 66, and we're trending up by $1,000 a week. We actually have a potential to even go to the 225K level. 225K level. So you can see the numbers, how they build up. You need to build up. So yeah, I hope this I know it's a long form, RA. I hope this answers that yes, we are still in a bull market. Bull market hasn't ended. For it to end, we need to go to 37K. But if we plan carefully, we don't even need to wait to confirm that. Free Energy says, great stuff. Thank you, my brother. Nice to see you here as well. Pothead says, 1,000 years people might find. Yes, 1,000 years, if the internet that we know is still the internet that we believe it to be, then yeah. SM says, any good coins keeping an eye out for? Any good coins? There are so many. I will have to definitely go back and look, because look, I have a few coins that I definitely have my eyes on, right? But they're not new coins, they're old coins, and ultimately they still follow the cycle, right? So you have to be cautious when you start buying these things, right? You have to definitely be cautious. I would rather wait for a bull market, trend reversal confirmation before I pick anything. Right now, I am holding on to, and I'll be transparent with you, I've dumped everything. So that there's only 5 actual crypto I'm holding right now. I'm holding BTC, I'm holding Ethereum, I'm holding Solana, I'm holding USDC, and I'm holding USDT. The rest are already gone. I'm out, right? I'm not taking that risk. I don't care. So for me to mention anything that I'll be keeping my eye on, it's going to be difficult, because what I would do, I would assess, right, what my positions are and what the market position is before I dive into something. And it could be anything. It could be, Casper, it could be BNB, it could be not Solana. Obviously Solana is already part of my portfolio. It could be Cardano, for example. I don't know, right? It could be Matic, right? And Matic is one that I do like. It could be Matic. So it could be any one of those coins, and in fact it could be anything that we've never even heard of, because there are times when I do go and jump in and out of other coins as well. I'll still be doing that. But do I have a specific coin that I can mention right now? No, I'll be honest with you. I'm being transparent with you. I don't care if this is a live stream. I'm not going to do that, because there isn't really anything there. If I'm not doing it, then why would I suggest something to you? Because I'll just be a freaking hypocrite. I'm not. Right. Pothead, I'm going to talk about that 1,000 years thing as well, right? I'm going to talk about that as well. There's something I want to mention here. Pothead says, by the way, guys, is the audio okay? I hope the audio is good. Good. I'm not sure if the audio is any good or not. Pothead says, I think 4-year cycle has one more push. It's a good reason why BlackRock got in the last year preparing to sell into 4-year cycle bull. I hope anyway. Probably. Listen, BlackRock has a bigger agenda. BlackRock didn't enter the market to make money. BlackRock doesn't need money, right? Entire BTC, entire Bitcoin market cap is $1 point something trillion. Let's just be real with ourselves. BlackRock can print that in a day, right? BlackRock can order it to be printed. So if BlackRock decided to buy every single Bitcoin on the planet for whatever the asking price is, they could. That's not their agenda. I don't think that's their agenda. I don't think they came in to make any money. They're not here to make profit. They're here to create an entirely different financial instrument that benefits them for a very long time. They don't have to hold BTC to do that. They just did it for the sake of it, right? They just did it for the sake of it. They can have, a billion Bitcoin trading on ETF or whatever financial instruments that they make. Not to forget that the amount of companies they are already invested in who are actually buying BTC as well. So indirectly and directly, they've been in BTC in one form or another, but they're not in it for the crypto reasons that we believe. There are also rumors out there that they want to go take over Bitcoin. Possibly, who cares? Haven't they already taken it over, right? Because once the institutions came in, they already took over, in my opinion. We've already lost control. So, it's a matter of me finding out when they finally announce it, and I'll be out of the market. Win or lose, it doesn't matter. I'm out. You know what I mean? So that's what you got to look at. Sometimes just be realistic. It's not always about being bullish. It's not always being, I believe in this and this and that. No, I don't have any blind faith in anything, right? Especially when it comes to Bitcoin and institutions and all the other nonsense I'm seeing right now. I don't have any faith in any of them, right? I've already made a video and I've already talked about it on a live stream regarding my stance on BTC or the creation of BTC, how I feel the BTC could have been created by, some hidden institutions out there. That's just the theory that I have. But anyway, I want to talk about this 1,000-year thing. So one thing a lot of people, and listen, we are programmed to not ask questions, right? So one thing a lot of people don't ask is who created the internet, right? And people forget the internet was created by the military, the United States military, by the way, to be precise, right? And of course, there are many versions of the internet, right, across the globe, and they are connected via, fiber optics or whatever you want to call it, satellite links or whatever you want to call it, right? But they are connected in one form or another, which is why we can actually visit websites in another country. But that's because the infrastructure was built later on in order to connect them. But the original internet, the base protocol, the original protocol, is still something that was created by the United States military. So to understand this means that the original base code, doesn't matter how open source it is, someone still has the switch. That's all I'm going to say, right? So anything and everything that we build on it could be changed at some stage. The internet we know today may be a complete different internet, right? Elon Musk and his Neuralink, that could be a whole different internet. We don't know. So that's just something I just wanted to add here, when we talk about internet. But yeah, I would love it if 1,000 years later someone sees me and says, who the hell is this fucking idiot, right? Excuse my language, but who's this idiot? What's he talking about? Yeah, it would be quite interesting. But yeah, so SM, I hope that makes sense, bro. I don't want to give you a name of a coin right now, especially when I'm feeling uneasy, especially when I think the market needs to get back to a particular level before I make a decision on myself, right? If I want to buy something or not. Right now, I'm ready to dump everything. I'm being honest with you. 61k BTC, I'm dumping everything. I don't give a shit, right? Because I want to wait and see if I want to buy the bottom or just wait for the entire thing to bleed out before I jump back in again. I want to play the trend, guys. I don't want to go against the trend. The trend is my friend. Do you know what I mean? And if the trend is telling me that, dude, you want to be careful, I need to be careful. All right? I need to be careful. And remember what I said the other day as well. There are some people out there, there are some influencers and all sorts of other internet muggles, let's call them muggles, who will use current geopolitics and other narratives to manipulate the system. So just be cautious, extra cautious, right? And current geopolitics doesn't look good. To be honest, it doesn't look good. So yeah, it doesn't look good. If you have any other questions, let me know. Any other questions, let me know. Time now is 11 minutes past 11 p.m. on the 16th of April. I believe it's a Tuesday. Well, it was a Tuesday, 2024, right? Year is 2024. So it's a good thing, actually. You say 1,000 years later, people will see. They will at least find the date and time, so they will know exactly when to go and reference it, right? This is 0xfiles. My name is Sham. The truth is always out there. The time now is 11 minutes past 11 p.m. in the United Kingdom. The date is the 16th of April 2024, and the day is a Tuesday. Just in case, right? Just in case, bro. You never know. You never know, you know. But yes, if there is anything else you guys want me to talk about, please carry on. If not, I'm not going to make this any longer. The video is like, what, 50 minutes long. Don't want to make it any longer. Let's just see what happens. As I said, none of this matters, right? You know, the numbers we're seeing right now, guys, believe me, it doesn't matter. We can hover around between 62 and 65 and whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't make me bullish, right? I'm just being honest with you. It doesn't make me bullish. When I see these numbers, I'm tempted to kind of trade the pattern on an hourly or a 4-hourly pattern, maybe even in a 15-minute pattern, but it doesn't make me any more bullish. It will only make me more bullish if we can establish ourselves above the $66,000 level, potentially even higher, right? Then we will see the market react to it. Market sitting at $2.25 trillion isn't a good thing, right? We went to 2.75 trillion. Guys, we've lost $500 billion. $500 billion. That's $500 billion. Do you realize that, right? The stock market would be shut down by now. The entire globe will be in panic by now. But we're still here talking about probabilities and possibilities and, you know, hoping the market will recover and go to a good level. Do you know what I mean? So you got to understand this. You got to understand this. It's very important. So yeah, I'm not going to make this any longer. I appreciate everyone coming to the show. Thank you very much. Let's just see what the market does. But, you know, yes, we've got the halving in 3 days. The market will close this week. Let's just hope it doesn't close too bad, right? It doesn't close too bad. But yeah, as long as we can hold that 62,500 or whatever level, we should be okay. Still safe, right? But if we lose that, guys, it's chaos, right? So just be prepared. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I've ever said, right? Other than that, like, share, and subscribe. And let me catch you guys on another one very soon. Adios, my amigos. Thank you very much for everyone coming to the show.